And sound check number 2 with the camera. What up, guys? This is Ricky from Project Attraction, and today we're going to talk about, should I buy a girl a drink? Should I buy a girl a drink? Or better yet, does buying a girl get me laid is the question you should be asking yourself. And that's kind of like the real motivation behind it, right? It's like, oh, I'll buy this girl a drink and then maybe it'll help me get laid, right? It's kind of thinking. But really, you gotta think about what buying a drink represents. Like in our society, it's very common. Like you see all TV shows, and it's always like, hey, can I buy you a drink? Or like I think of like the classic 1950s, like, hey, can I go up, buy you a drink, be the classy guy, buy her a drink, and the guy and the girl laugh together, talk, and she goes home with him. And you're like, oh, so your mind equates like, oh, I buy this girl a drink, and that's how I get laid. Really, you should just think about buying a girl a drink is really just getting time alone with her. Then that's the only thing that buying a drink should mean to her. If you're just starting out, getting success with women, you should make it a rule actually not to buy girls drinks, to go against that social stigma and kind of break out against it. You should be getting laid off your personality and for the girl liking you as a person, not for someone who buys her shit. That's provider mode. You want to be lover mode. You want to be a cool, fun guy. And she's like, dude, I want to go home and fuck this guy because he's making me laugh. He's fucking funny. He leads. He's dominant. He's aggressive. He has his alpha male qualities, and that's why I want to fuck him. Not because he bought me a stupid drink. So that's really what you want to cultivate. I remember when I was first starting my success with women, and I still kind of do this too, but I just made a rule, and I learned it from one of my good buddies, Derek, who's kind of a natural with women, just naturally good with girls. And he would just say, oh, I'm not going to buy, oh, sorry. Like if a girl asked him to buy him a drink, he'd be like, nah, sorry, company policy, I don't buy girls drink. Sometimes the girl would bait him because that actually attracted her, because it's like, oh, he's not like every other guy. And he'd be like, oh, you could ask one of the, I'm sure any of these guys would be willing to buy you a drink, and kind of bait her into like, oh, you know what, go. Like, go get someone else to buy you a drink, I'm not a chump. And why that was so attractive is because it kind of set him apart. And so I started adopting that too. Coming from like the nice guy role, or getting successful when you're kind of really in the people-pleasing business, where you're just like, I just want to make people happy, I just want to give things, and then people will give it back. So you want to get out of that role and learn and have people genuinely like you for you, and not always like because you're in a people-pleasing mode, which is very much a turn-off. So if you're just starting, make it a rule not to buy girls drinks. If they like ask like, oh, maybe you should buy me a drink or something like that, make a rule not to. I always solidified in my head, the few times that I have gone against it, it has worked out bad for me, and it was good. I used those negative references to solidify in my head, don't be buying girls drinks to get laid. Because sometimes it looks like the easy open, and the girls can be very flirtatious, and you're like, oh, maybe you can buy me a drink, and it's like very seductive enough where I'm like, yeah, and you go into it. And then back in my mind, I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this, it's my rule not to buy girls drinks, but the girl's like, oh, she's so hot, and I end up buying her a drink or buying drinks for her friends and stuff, and it doesn't work out, and I'm like, fuck, like, damn it, I knew I shouldn't have done that, but I just am like, okay, well, look what happened. You didn't stick to your boundaries, you didn't stick to your principles as a man, and look what happened, look what it got you. It didn't get you laid, it didn't get you anything. You were just a chump, and she just used you for your validation. The one time that it did work in my favor was I was actually took a girl on a date, and it was when I was first in the game, so I was like, no buying girls drinks, blah, blah, blah. And me and the girl were kind of going back and forth, where she's like, maybe you should buy me a drink, you should buy the drinks. And I was like, nah, like, I think we should split it, blah, blah, blah. And she finally was like, something to the point of like, oh, you know, if you want to get into a girl's pants, you should buy the drinks. And I just did it. I was like, all right, I'm going to buy, you know what? In my mind, I'm like, all right, bitch, you know what? I'm going to buy the drinks, and then you're not going to fuck me, and I'm going to hold this against women for the rest of my life. And then she ended up actually fucking me that night, so I kind of played against it, and I was pissed at it. I was like, God damn it, I got laid. Oh, I shouldn't have got laid. I should have got laid off my personality, which I did, and, you know, like, there's several factors to include, but I usually like to not be rewarded for that kind of behavior, so it reminds me, like, oh yeah, you should be getting laid because of your leadership and being funny and charismatic and all the masculine qualities that are attractive to women. So that being said, so now we got the point of like why you shouldn't be buying a girl a drink and what the context is. remember I said before, the context is it should be a time to, sorry, I had like a little brain fart. It should be time for you and the girl to talk together. So if you do want to buy a girl a drink, let's say you've gone through like a year or so and you haven't been buying girls drinks and you've really been developing yourself. Now you want to put it back into your personality because you don't want to be one-sided. You want to be able to, all these different characteristics I talk about, like don't buy a girl a drink and stuff, it makes you multifaceted in your personality. So you're not, like, if you take like the people pleaser, why he's so unattractive is he's very predictable in his actions. He's like, oh, the girl's like, if I ask him a drink and kind of be flirtatious, this guy's going to buy me a drink. And it's very like one-dimensional. But if you're someone that is like a man who's in his prime, makes choices based on how he's feeling. So he might be like, no, fuck that bitch, I don't want to buy her a drink, she's being bratty or something like that. Or maybe it's a girl he's dating and he's like, you know what, this girl, we've been hooking up for a while, you know what, let's go out, I'm gonna buy drinks, I'm gonna spoil her a bit, which is a good thing. So the way you want to take it, the next step, is to buy a girl a drink when maybe you want to like get her away from her friends. One of my buddies, he would go out and party with the group, and he'd be partying with all the girls, you know, like yeah, and it's like maybe the beginning of the night, so you don't want to be like too aggressive or whatnot. You're just like, everyone's just kind of getting in the mood and lightening up and stuff. But then when it gets to like that midnight part where it's like everybody's like party mode, the girls are like, yeah, let's party, and everyone's like relaxed and in a down mood, and now everyone's kind of thinking like, okay, I'm having a lot of fun. What's the next extension of fun? Fuck somebody. So then my buddy, he would like, they'd be dancing in a group, and he would just grab them and be like, oh, hey, let's go get shots at the bar, and then like pull her away that. So that's how you want to use buying a girl a drink. Maybe if it's like, you want to use it to your advantage where it's serving you, purpose for you to further the set. So maybe you could be like, oh, if you want to get her away from her friends, you can go like, oh, let's go get drinks, I'm gonna buy us shots. Or like, oh, let's try a new venue, and you can even venue change. Like, oh, let's buy drinks here, blah, 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 blah. And that can be kind of an incentive because the girl's like, oh, I do want him to buy me a drink. And it's working to your advantage where you're furthering the set to fuck the girl, basically. So those are just some tidbits. Remember, take-home points is if you're first starting out, try not to buy the girl a drink. It's never going to get you laid. Really, just remember, buying a girl a drink is just, you want to use it to your advantage as far as having one-on-one time with the girl. So that's what you view as a drink. Like, you're paying for a drink, she's going to be in front of you for at least a few minutes, so then you can like develop attraction and stuff. But buying the drink on its own merit is not going to get you any points with the girl, really. Like, even if you buy a girl a drink, she may go talk to other guys, flirt with other guys, and basically the most attractive, carefree dude is going to take her home, whether he's bought her a drink or not. So, some just tidbits to take home. Don't be buying girls drinks unless you feel like it, and it's not to get laid, but it's just to continue the fun, not to get into her pants. Until next time.